This is a guided meditation to support you in moving into deeper relationship with the stories that your young self learned across the course of your life that were designed to protect you, but may be showing up in your present day, causing pain or disruption. As we begin, I'd like to invite you to gently drift back across the course of your life and find that young self that is still living vibrantly inside you. We all have an inner child who frequently is knocking on our experience of consciousness and sharing messages with us about what we need or needed and didn't receive in the past. Once you've identified your beautiful internal child, that inner experience of self that is so young and so deserving, I invite you to move into deeper relationship with them. Notice their hair, their eyes. See how they're sitting or standing, the posture. Notice their very beingness. And as you take a moment to deepen your connection with them, let's welcome in a gentle breath to a count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and release to a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now, as you notice this young self, I'd like to invite you to imagine that on the left side of them there is a bubble. That bubble encompasses all the stories or experiences of fear and anxiety. These are the experiences that continue to show up in the present day. They frequently take the form of I am statements, such as I am scared or I am anxious. An experience of being insecure or even feeling like a failure. I'd like to invite you to notice those moments, those thoughts that come to you today in the here and now, and trace them all the way back to this young self who started telling themselves these tapes and these stories, and trace them all the way back to this young self who likely learned these tapes and these stories from the world around them. Notice these thoughts as though they are words being typed in a typewriter on a keyboard, and allow them and invite them to float freely in this bubble. I am scared. I am fearful. I'm not good enough. Whatever the stories are that show up today, let's take them back to their origin. Take them home to this young self who learned them. And once you have placed all of your stories in this bubble, I invite you to pull back and take a larger view of this young self. Notice their very beingness, their energy. Notice their eyes and their smile or their facial expression. And then turn your attention to that less than preferable bubble. And notice that these are things that were taught and learned. And turning back to the young self, notice that this beautiful being that was you back then did not come into the world believing these things. This loving, amazing child, this vibrant self, came into the world with all of the capacity for joy and love. This young self came into the world knowing that there was a possibility of deeply held confidence and capacity. And turning your attention back to the bubble, I'd like to invite you to notice now that you hold a pin in your hand or a needle. We're just going to reach over and pop that bubble. Because these are not your truths. They are not this child's truths. They are the truths that were taught by somebody else through experience and somebody else's pain. I'd like to invite you to turn your attention to the other side of the child, of your young, beautiful, vibrant self. And let's notice a new effervescent bubble, a beautiful experience of spaciousness and energetic love and compassion. What colors are swirling in this beautiful bubble? And what messages would you, here and now, like to bring back to that child self? What is the truth of this being that is you? The possibility of being lovable and worthy, of being simply enough because of breath and beingness. And in your mind's eye, start writing out these new, powerful opportunities of your truth. I am lovable. I am healing. I am capable. I am deserving. And if you notice any part of yourself, your beingness, kicking up a little dust around that I am statement, pull it back and go, what if I was lovable? What if I was deserving? What if I am healing? Invite in those magical possibilities that are available as you create your authentic truth. As we welcome in another deep cleansing breath, counting in 4, 3, 2, 1. A slow, easy release to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Let's introduce your young, sweet, amazing self to this new bubble. Perhaps even invite them to lean into it or step into it and wrap those beautiful, loving, true, authentic experiences around them. Imagine those beautiful, loving phrases swirling around that young self. I am lovable. I am deserving. I am capable. Wrapping them in a gentle, loving hug of authentic truth that takes us all the way back to the original inception point, the very beingness within which we entered this world. And notice if inside you there exists the possibility of holding that young self within this authentic truth. Imagine wrapping a beautiful hug around that young self, inviting them in to your warmth and tender care, and knowing that you, here now, you can push pause on those old tapes and play on the ones that are your internal truth. You are deserving of love. You are beautiful. You are sweet. You are kind. You are deserving of your own love. You have so much capacity. You are worthy. You are deserving. And I invite you to continue to welcome in that truth with deep, loving self-compassion and loving, kind care for yourself. And as we wrap up this loving guided meditation, invite your young self to ride shotgun in your heart and to let you know anytime those old stories are showing up, so that you can step in and remind them of the new truth, the new tapes, those experiences and beliefs that you push play on